We're continuing to follow this news, and we're going to get some more reaction on this from former Republican presidential candidate and former Congressman Joe Walsh. We've reached him in Washington. Thank you very much for making the time during this breaking news scenario that was, I know, unexpected for many. What's your reaction to this? Were you expecting this today?
I was expecting this today or tomorrow, certainly by early this week. Look, now it's game on. Now it's let's go to it. What we know is there are more people in this country who oppose Donald Trump than support him. I supported Joe Biden because I opposed Donald Trump. But as long as Joe Biden was in the race wouldn't be about Trump. It would be about Biden and his age. Because of what Joe Biden did today, now that will change.
How do you think that this is going to affect the way that the race goes forward now and the prospects for the Democratic Party?
One word: enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. Look, the ugly truth is, right, most Americans didn't want this matchup. They didn't want Biden or Trump. Most Americans are sick of having to vote for this choice, right? America, the world's oldest, greatest democracy. We've got Biden versus Trump. So just the fact of having someone who isn't super old, someone who can actually communicate. Kamala Harris is what, in her late 50s? She's going to seem like a teenager, a very mature teenager compared to Biden and Trump. So I think her candidacy will get a lot of people excited, a lot of Democrats excited, a lot of people like me excited who are never Trumpers, who just weren't excited when it came to Joe Biden. Will
there be anyone to really give her a run for her money to challenge her for this nomination?
No way, no how. No way, no how. For one very important reason and one very practical reason. The important reason is for the Democratic Party, there's no way the Democratic Party would walk around the first black female vice president. That is a major aspect of the Democratic Party's constituency. Secondly, Joe Biden picked her. When Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris, Joe Biden told the American people, this woman can and is qualified to become president. And then just practically speaking, it's 3.5, 4 months. Remember, it wasn't the Joe Biden reelection campaign. It was the Biden-Harris reelection campaign. So everything can now just seamlessly flow to Kamala Harris. It makes the most sense.
You know, but at the same time, the Trump campaign is now able to stick some of those same criticisms that they had of Joe Biden on Harris.
Which, in particular, which criticisms are you referring to?
Well, I mean, anything that they have said that he has been weak on, moving, like, I'm just saying, it's the same ticket to them as what they're going to bill. So what do you think is happening behind the scenes there when it comes to the Republican strategy now moving forward?
That's a great point and a great question and an important question. And I can tell you this right now, the most unhappy people in America right now are Donald Trump, his campaign, and his supporters. They were salivating at the opportunity to run against 81-year-old Joe Biden. Joe Biden's a good man, but Joe Biden is incapable of communicating and making the case against Trump. Trump and his team knew that. They know Kamala Harris can make that case. And they also know that Kamala Harris is going to generate a lot of excitement from young people and people of color throughout this country who just were not really excited and maybe were thinking about staying at home in November. The Trump campaign is scared about this. They will not know how to handle this. And the other point I'd make is Donald Trump is a coward. He's a bully. He's always going after people, but he's always had a difficult time attacking strong women. This will not be easy for him.
We certainly saw that in that rally last night in Michigan, where he asked the crowd if they would rather he go up against Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. And there was a huge roar when he said Joe Biden. So certainly the crowd on side with what you're saying there as well. But, you know, the last few weeks has been such a difficult uphill climb for the Democrats, for Joe Biden, since that debate. And a lot of damage has been done, even within the rank and file of the party, from traditional Democratic voters, but mainly for those who are maybe on the fence and maybe would potentially vote for Donald Trump in the election. So how much sort of damage control needs to be done now, and how quickly does that need to happen?
Right away, there does need to be some damage control done, but right away, and a lot of this is on Joe Biden. And I can't emphasize this enough. From the very beginning of this campaign, Joe Biden has had one thing and one thing only to prove: that he's not too old. He couldn't prove that. God bless him, but he proved the exact opposite. So this was on him to do this. Joe Biden has said repeatedly, like I've said repeatedly every time I go on television, Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy. It was imperative that Biden realize he's not the person now who can defeat Trump. I like the fact, I think it's super important that Biden endorsed Kamala Harris. That's today. That's going to send a signal to every Democrat to get up and get out there. And we've got 3.5, 4 months to go. Again, these are crazy times in America. I think people are underestimating how much enthusiasm this will bring. Just having a candidate who's not like 80 years old, and a candidate who can actually talk and fire people up. I mean, this is a big deal.
You know, we're expecting to hear from Joe Biden within the week. I don't know if we have actually got a timing on that yet for when he is expected to address the nation, but certainly there will be a lot of eyes on that address. What do you think the American public want to hear from him now?
I think they want to hear a full-throated summation of what I just said by Joe Biden, because the focus of this campaign has to be Donald Trump. Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy. The one thing we know for certain is Trump's voters are enthusiastic and they'll run through a wall for Trump. But there are more people in America who oppose Trump than support him. Joe Biden has to remind America of that, remind America of what the threat is and what this campaign should be about, and then put his arm around Kamala Harris and encourage and say that he's going to work his tail off to help get his vice president elected. He needs to set that example.
Joe Walsh, always great to talk to you, especially when there is breaking news like this, and lots to watch from your country. Really appreciate it.
Never dull, never dull.
Thanks very much. We appreciate your time, Joe.
Thanks.